FM News Talk 97.1. On-demand audio.
I am thrilled to be joined by Congressman Steve Stockman, and I was so excited when because you were the only one who got it during the State of the Union. Everyone was talking about Sandy Hook and the victims, which everyone was very sorry for, but it's not our fault as legal, law-abiding gun owners. And you actually turned the media focus on its head. You invited Ted Nugent, and everyone had to talk about, well, here's a person who loves the Second Amendment, and he's not guilty of a crime. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, we looked at the list of the stories, we print them all out. It was amazing because every time they mentioned Sandy Hook for the State of the Union, they also said Ted Nugent was there.
Ted Nugent was
right there. We
so
stepped on his line. I loved it.
And I wish more had done that. And you just thought, well, you know what? We need Ted Nugent at the State of the Union.
Well, I was trying to think of Dana, I was trying to figure out a way we could, because you saw the narrative he was building. I mean, he kept releasing all these people are going to be at the State of the Union. And I told our guys, I said, we got to come up with a way so that we change that narrative. It's a people's house.
Right.
We need a balance to it. And none other than our friend Uncle Ted showed up. And we're both from Detroit. So
that was great. And I like it that you routinely like to go out and raise some cane, which I appreciate. We were just talking about how they made you take the failometer down.
Yeah, it was the House administration. And the problem was getting so long, we had listed all these things he failed at,
They didn't like having to see it.
No.
So they wanted you to take it down. Now, before you sat down here, you were telling me about some good news, some news that I'm really going to like. Now, I'm very intrigued.
Here's what happened. We were on a different radio show in the morning, and the fact is that they said, well, they released all these people into our state of Texas and other border states to punish us, theoretically, they were doing it because it was sequester. Now, mind you, it happened before the sequester even took place. The long story short is some of these people they released are actually rapists. At least this is what a tip-off is. So I announced today on the radio that Obama has his own war on women. This is horrible what he did. And then today I released a letter requesting information on who they released, what's their names, what are their crimes, because they're hiding this as another cover-up. First, we got them selling gun running down to Mexico. Now we got them a federally sponsored jailbreak.
Right, and this was we were assured that these aren't violent offenders. These are just people that got locked up overnight for seatbelt violations.
Right.
That's pretty much how it was sold to us.
Yeah, and we're finding out we have someone call our office, but we got to make sure. I don't know. He may be not telling the truth. We got to find out. So I did a Freedom of Information request and other request from the produced documents, and we issued that today. So it's a great story to follow. But this is something that the administration has done. It's horrible. It's to create a crisis, as you know from his
Hurt
book.
and rescue.
Right. Create a crisis and then say we're going to solve it. And what he did is he created this crisis saying, the sky's falling, the sky's falling. And then it didn't happen. Now it's falling flat.
Absolutely. Well, and isn't it true, too, that they always release every now and then illegal immigrants, and this doesn't seem like it seems like it's kind of routine that's what.
Well, no, this is different. In fact, this is people that have been convicted of a crime. Instead of sending them back to their state of origin, they released them on the streets of the United States.
Isn't that lovely?
It's
playing with the American people completely and our safety.
I see Obama during any cuts, when you see a government, you'll see like 6 people around the hole while one poor guy's digging the hole. Obama's the guy that wants to fire the guy digging the hole and keep the 6 bureaucrats around there watching the guy.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'd love to have you back on the program too, and I so appreciate that will you keep us updated as to what you find out from that?
And everybody's supposed to listen to your show, right? Keep informed.
Of course. Well, everybody does. We're number one.
That's great.
We even beat the number one nationally in our market, so we're good. But I so appreciate Congressman Steve Stockman.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Keep in touch.
Right.
You got to come back.
Thanks.
I love what you do.
We
Thank
like
you.
stirring it up. Bye-bye.
That's great. Congressman Steve Stockman, and of course, you can listen to our past podcasts, especially right after the State of the Union, when the congressman had invited Ted Nugent. And you heard him talk about how the administration was releasing these violent offenders, and some of whom were actual rapists. And this is, you want to talk about a war on women. Let's talk about a war on women with the Independent Women's Forum, one of our favorite groups. We have Julie Gunlock. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
You heard Congressman Steve Stockman sit here and say, well, this is Obama's war on women. Some of these individuals, it seems as though there were rapists who were released.
Oh, yeah. And, that's the thing that people need to understand is that women need to be able to protect themselves, certainly, and when this kind of behavior is happening with the Obama administration, it makes it a little bit harder to protect yourself. So, so this is definitely, women should be outraged by this.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things I wanted to ask you about as well, the violence against, speaking of violence against women, the Violence Against Women Act. This, we talked to Marsha Blackburn about this a little bit. She was very outspoken against this act, but Democrats did not want to acknowledge that the female Republicans were actually speaking out against it, and that it was apparently expanded to include men. And so, Julie, isn't just all crime illegal regardless of sex?
Right, it is. And that's the problem. When you actually have a problem with the management of a law, with how it is actually managed, you're just automatically deemed anti-woman. If you have any problem with the actual mechanism and how it's actually enforced and how it's put in place, and how it's actually, if it doesn't in any way protect women, you're immediately, if you criticize these things, you're immediately, portrayed as anti-woman, and they even do it to us, women. I mean, we are women, and we want to make these laws stronger, and we want to actually protect women in a real way, and we're not even allowed to bring up these kinds of these laws and make them stronger and better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love what you guys do at the end of it. Honestly, you and ladies have been doing a fabulous job, especially in this narrative environment that we're in. Please keep it up.
It's super easy to be a conservative woman today.
It is. IWF.org is the website. Julie Gunlock, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate it.